Hello, everyone. It's me and Miss Mason, and we have a book that we are going to read for you today. This book is called Bread and Jam for Frances. I know what bread is, but what's jam? Well, it looks like she's got a jar with some stuff. Maybe that's jam because there's her bread. Oh, and she's got some of the stuff from the jar on her bread. Oh, that looks like jelly. Oh, jam is another word for jelly. Bread and jam for Frances. I wonder if this is Frances. It was breakfast time, and everyone was at the table. Father was eating his egg. Mother was eating her egg. Gloria was sitting, this must be Gloria, was sitting in a high chair eating her egg too. And Frances was eating bread and jam. What lovely egg, said Father. If there's one thing I am fond of for breakfast, it's an egg. Yes, said Mother, spooning up egg for the baby. It is just the thing to start the day off right. Ah, said Gloria and ate up her egg. Frances did not eat her egg. She sang a little song. I wonder why Frances didn't eat her egg. Okay, here's her song. She sang the song very softly. I do not like the way you slide. I do not like you soft inside. I do not like you lots of ways, and I could do for many days without eggs. Why didn't she eat her eggs? Why doesn't she eat her eggs? She doesn't eat her eggs because, yeah, she doesn't like them. What did you say, Frances? Asked Father. Nothing, said Frances, spreading jam on another slice of bread. Why do you keep eating bread and jam? Asked Father, when you have a lovely egg. One of the reasons I like bread and jam, said Frances, is that it does not slide off your spoon in a funny way. So who are the characters in this book? Who are the characters in this book? The characters in this book are Frances, her dad, her mom, and her baby sister. Do you remember her baby sister's name? Gloria. Well, of course, said Father, not everyone likes eggs for breakfast, but there are other kinds of eggs. There are sunny side up eggs and sunny side down eggs. Yes, said Frances, but sunny side up eggs lie on your plate and they look at you in a funny way. And sunny side down eggs, they just lie on their stomachs and wait. What about scrambled eggs, said Father. Scrambled eggs roll off the fork. I think it's time for you to go to school now, said Mother. Frances picked up her books, her lunchbox, and her skipping rope. Skipping rope means jump rope. Then she kissed Mother and Father goodbye and went to the bus stop. While she waited for the bus, she skipped and sang, jam on biscuits, jam on toast. Jam is the thing I like the most. Jam is sticky. Jam is sweet. Jam is tasty. Jam's a treat. Raspberry, strawberry, gooseberry. I'm very fond of jam. What is one thing that Frances likes the most? What is one thing Frances likes the most? Frances likes, do you remember what that word's called? It's another word for jelly. Jam the most. And remember, what's jam? Uh-oh, Miss Yeager just told you. Jam is jelly. I like strawberry jelly the best. That evening for dinner, Mother cooked breaded veal cutlets, that's a type of meat, and green beans and baked potatoes. That sounds nice. Ah, said Father, what is there handsomer on a plate and tastier than a veal cutlet? It's a nice dish, isn't it, said Mother. Eat up the green beans, Gloria. Oh, said Gloria, and ate it up. She had already eaten her dinner and sweet potatoes, but she liked to practice eating with her fork. Remember, Gloria's her little sister. So that sounds like a really nice dinner. I wonder what Frances is going to think. Where do breaded veal cutlets come from? Asked Frances. And where do green beans, why are they called string beans? We could talk about that another time, said Father. Now it is time for you to eat your dinner. Frances looked at her plate and sang, what do cutlets wear before they're breaded? Flannel nightgowns? Cowboy boots? Furry jackets? Sailor suits? No, they don't wear stuff like that, do they? Then she spread jam, yep, on a slice of bread and took a bite. She won't try anything new, Mother said to Father. She just eats bread and jam. How do you know what you'll like if you don't even try it? Said Father. Well, said Frances, there are many things to eat and they taste many different ways. But when I have bread and jam, I always know what I'm getting and I'm always pleased. You try new things in your school lunches, said Mother. Today I gave you a chicken salad sandwich. Oh, she didn't give her bread and jam. There now, said Father to Frances. Wasn't it good? Well, said Frances, I traded my lunch to Albert. Oh, she didn't eat the chicken salad sandwich, did she? For what? Said Father. Bread and jam, said Frances. Why does Frances only eat bread and jam? Why does Frances only eat bread and jam? Frances only eats bread and jam because she doesn't like to try new things. She thinks they'll be gross, but has she tried them? So she doesn't know that. The next morning at breakfast, Father sat down and said, now I call that a pretty sight. Fresh orange juice and poached eggs on toast. That's a proper breakfast for you. Thank you for saying so, said Mother. Poached eggs on toast do have a cheery look, I think. Frances began to sing a song about the eggs. Poached eggs on toast, why do you shiver with such a funny little quiver? Then she looked down and saw that she did not have an egg. She probably doesn't have an egg because she won't eat it. I don't have an egg, said Frances. I have nothing but orange juice. I know, said Mother. Why is that? Everyone else has an egg, even Gloria. But you do not like eggs, said Mother, and that is why I did not give you one. Have some bread and jam if you're hungry. So Frances ate bread and jam and went to school. When the bell rang for lunch, Frances sat down next to her friend Albert. What do you have today? Said Frances. I have a cream cheese, cucumber, and tomato sandwich on rye bread, and a pickle to go with it, and an egg, and some salt, and a bottle full of milk. He's got a nice lunch. And a bunch of grapes, and a tangerine, and a cup of custard, and a spoon. Well, that's a lot of food. What do you have? Frances opened her lunch. Bread and jam, she said, and milk. You're lucky, said Albert. That's just what you like. You don't have to trade now. Her food kind of seems a little bit boring, doesn't it? I think it would kind of be boring just to eat bread and jam every day. I wonder if she's starting to get bored of it. Her face kind of looks like, maybe she's wishing she could have something different now. That's right, said Frances, and I had bread and jam for dinner and for breakfast this morning. You certainly are lucky, said Albert. Yes, said Frances, I am a very lucky girl, I guess. But I'll trade you if you want to. Oh, wait a minute, she's willing to trade her lunch for something she's never tried. That's all right, said Albert. I like cream cheese with cucumbers. Albert took 2 napkins from his lunchbox. He tucked one napkin under his chin, and he spread the other on his desk like a tablecloth. With his spoon, he cracked his egg. He peeled the egg, and he sprinkled salt. Then he unscrewed his thermos bottle with milk and filled it. Then he was ready to eat his lunch. He took a bite of sandwich and pickle, egg, and then a drink of milk. Albert made the sandwich, the pickle, and the egg and the milk come out, so he ate all of them evenly. He's having a nice lunch. He ate his bunch of grapes and his tangerine, and then he cleared away the wax paper the tangerine peel, and the eggshell. He set the cup custard in the middle of the napkin on his desk. He took up a spoon and ate up all the custard. Custard is kind of like a pudding. Then Albert folded his napkin and put them away. He put away his spoon. He screwed the cup on his thermos. He shut his lunchbox. I like to have a good lunch, said Albert. Frances ate her bread, jam, and drank her milk. Then she went out to the playground and skipped rope. She did not skip as fast as she had skipped in the morning, and she sang, jam in the morning, jam at noon, bread and jam by the light of the moon. Jam is very nice. She doesn't sound as excited about singing about jam and bread as she used to. When Frances got home from school, Mother said, I know you like to have a little snack when you get home from school, and I have one all ready for you. I do like snacks, said Frances, running to the kitchen. Here it is, said Mother, a glass of milk and some nice bread and jam for you. Aren't you worried that maybe I will get sick and all my teeth will fall out from eating all that bread and jam, said Frances. I don't think that will happen for quite a while, said Mother. So eat it all up and enjoy it. Frances ate up most of her bread and jam, but she did not eat all of it. After her snack, she went outside to jump rope. Why didn't she eat all of her bread and jam? That's weird. I thought she liked bread and jam. Frances skipped a little more slowly than she had skipped at noon, and she sang, jam for snacks, jam for meals. I now know how a jam of jar feels, full of jam. Yeah, all she's got is jam in her tummy. That evening for dinner, Mother cooked spaghetti and meatballs with tomato sauce. I am glad to see there will be enough for seconds, said Father, because spaghetti and meatballs is one of my favorite dishes. Spaghetti and meatballs is a favorite with everybody, said Mother. Try a little spaghetti, Gloria. Said Gloria and tried the spaghetti. Frances looked down at her plate and saw that there was no spaghetti and meatballs on it, just bread and jam. But she kind of looked sad. And oh, wait a minute, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little teardrop. She's crying. There was a slice of bread and a jar of jam. Frances began to cry. Why is Frances crying? Why is Frances crying? Frances is crying because she just has bread and jam on her plate, and I think she wants spaghetti and meatballs. My goodness, said Mother, Frances is crying. What is the matter, asked Father. Frances looked down at her plate and sang a little sad song. She sang so softly that Mother and Father could scarcely hear her. What I am is tired of jam. Why is she crying? She's crying because she's tired of jam. Yeah, I would be tired too of eating jam all the time. I want spaghetti and meatballs, said Frances. May I have some, please? I had no idea you like spaghetti and meatballs, said Mother. How do you know what I'll like if you won't even let me try it, asked Frances. Oh, so now she realizes that maybe if she tries it, she'll like it. So Mother gave Frances spaghetti and meatballs, and she ate it all up. The next day, when the bell rang for lunch, Albert said, what do you have today? Well, said Frances, laying a doily on her desk and setting a vase of violets in the middle. Oh, she's fancy. She brought flowers and a little doily, like a little tablecloth to put on there. Let me see. I have a thermos bottle with tomato soup, she said, and I have a lobster salad sandwich. I have celery, carrot sticks, and black olives, and a little bit of salt for the celery. I have 2 plums and a tiny basket of cherries, and vanilla pudding with chocolate sprinkles. Whoa! Wait a minute here. What is happening? Where's our bread and jam? That's a good lunch, said Albert. I think it's nice that there are all different kinds of lunches and breakfasts and dinners and snacks. I think eating is nice. So do I, said Frances. And she made the lobster sandwich and celery and ate all of the olives. The end. Wait a minute. What made Frances decide she liked other food? What made Frances decide she liked other food? She decided she liked other food because she tried it and she decided she liked it. Ooh. So I have two things. Number one, I would like you to tell your mom or your dad or your brother, your sister, or your friend, tell them what your favorite food is. Frances's favorite food was bread and jam. What's your favorite food? Number two, you're going to draw and write a picture of what the problem in the story was. What was the problem in the story? That means what was wrong in the story. So we need our piece of paper. And I need to draw 2 lines for the name, my name and the date. My name. Date is May. Oh, we're in May now. May 5th, 2020. I almost wrote April. May 5th, 2020. I needed to write my box for my picture and my lines. And I need to think, what is the problem in the story? What is wrong in the story? The problem in the story is that Frances only likes bread and jam. That's a problem. She only likes bread and jam, right? So I need to draw a picture of Frances, and I'm going to draw a picture of her with her bread and jam, because that's what she likes. And Frances, I'm pretty sure, I'm not definite, I think she's a badger. That's a type of animal. Usually badgers, they kind of live in the forest. She kind of looks like a skunk, but I don't think she's a skunk. Okay, so here's Frances. And here is her little hands. And I'm going to put a jar of jam. And I'm going to write the word jam on it so that we know it's jam. J, 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 J. A. Here is Frances. Here's her jar of jam. And I think I'm going to put a piece of bread in her other hand. And here's her bread. I'm going to label it bread. So I know it's bread. B, 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 burr, burr, e, bread, d. So I've got my jam and my bread. What's the problem in the story? The problem in the story is Frances will only eat jam and bread. So we need to write the problem is. The, you know how to spell that, T-H-E. The problem. The problem is P-R-O-B-L-E-M. The problem is, whoops, I just dropped my clipboard, is, we know how to spell that, I-S. The problem is Frances will only eat bread and jam. We know how to spell bread and we know how to spell jam, but we don't know how to spell Frances. So maybe I'll put up here her name, Frances, so that we know how to spell it. And I know it tells me how to spell Frances on the book. Frances, F-R-A-N-C-E-S. So I'm going to write Frances on the picture so that I know that's her name. And then I can use that to answer my question. Frances. And maybe I'll draw a little arrow to point. So I wrote her name, Frances, and a little arrow. So now when I write the problem is Francis does not like to eat, or the problem is Francis only likes bread and jam. I've got jam written, I've got bread written, and I've got her name Francis written. I'm not going to write any more because I know that you are too smart and you can do it. I need to put a period at the end of my sentence. And I can't wait to see what you guys do. I'll see you guys next time. We love you. Thank you, Miss Mason.